If you've been thinking about starting a streetwear apparel brand, then you need to use Kittl to make your designs. It's super easy to do, and even Hustle Ninjas, one of our collaborators, did several videos on how he uses Kittl to make streetwear brand designs. And I'm going to show you how you can do that with Kittl. I'm going to show you how easy it is to edit templates, how easy it is to find that Y2K style streetwear element, as well as the fonts that you need to make your streetwear brand stand out. So let's take a look at how to do that. But first, if you don't have Kittl, go ahead and sign up for free to try it out using the link down in the description. Then you can even follow along and find the designs that I'm going to show you in this video. So thinking about a streetwear brand, the first thing we're going to need is a logo. So we can click on the Logos tab here in Kittl and see if we want to use any of the pre-made templates here. For example, I really like this first one up here on the top left. It's very streetwear already, so we could just use this one and use the simple text and change it to the name of our brand. But we can also look through the flash sheet category to see if there are other styles for the streetwear brand that we're going to be creating. There's already a lot of really nice ones here that you could just scroll through and find one that you want to use. But we can also click on a different category like minimal if we want to go for something more minimal, or we can also just go to Y2K, which is in that kind of streetwear style niche. And if that's your style, if that's what you want to use, then you can scroll through a ton of these that are already put together that you can click in and change. For example, I really like this one right here. So what we can do is click on use this design and then start changing it to our own brand. So here is the design in the editor. I'm going to go to the layers panel here and get rid of the background. We don't need that for this because we're going to actually put the logo on the shirt as part of the design. So what I'm going to do is work with my colors. I'm just going to go black and white. I think that's what we're going to use for our logo, or maybe a gray or something. And we're going to get rid of a couple of elements. We're just going to delete them, hit backspace to get rid of some of these elements. Now what we're going to do is call this Kittl Berlin. That's going to be our logo for this, and that's going to be the name of our streetwear brand. Now what we need to do is go to the second text. In this template there are two texts, basically two text blocks, and we need to make them look the same. So you see there it says extra shadow or extrude text. We need the same thing here, so we'll click in, make this say Berlin. So we've got Kittl and then we've got Berlin right here, and then what we need to do is make it all caps. Then we'll take that one off, then go to the second one, change that to say Berlin as well, and then when we click out of this and then turn on the top layer, now you can see that the two shadows are playing well together. And that's just, for example, in this template. There's a lot of different templates with some cool little neat tips and tricks and things like that. So what I'm going to do is just go through this and maybe formulate how I would see this one being used, but we can also just start a new project from scratch. So that was one example. But what if you don't want to use a template? Well, that's okay. What we can do is go over here and use just the regular text headline to get started just completely from scratch. Now, what I'm going to do is the same thing. So I'm going to type Kittl because I know that's the name of our streetwear brand that we are formulating here. And so the text is extremely important. So let's go to the other category here. And we're going to look for a very streetwear style one, maybe like black letter. Black letter is used a ton in the grungy kind of streetwear style brand. But what we can do is go over into the glyphs and do something a little bit different. So I don't really want to use that star shape eye, dot on top of the eye. So let's use just this basic one without the top of the eye. And then what we can do is go over into the abstract category. Then we can go into the Y2K elements and we can use this shooting star element, which is super popular. We see this a lot in not only streetwear design, but just design in general, or Y2K style design. And I think that's cool. Now, what we can do is hit the Alt or Option key and drag and do something different. So I'm going to make a more kind of modern blocky style streetwear apparel logo, and that looks cool as well. So now we've got this. Let me put it back behind a black box and change it to white. I think that's also cool as an option. Now what if we want a script style one? We can do that as well. So we've got Kittl here in a kind of script style hand, big pen or big marker style lettering, and then with Berlin I'll just make it small next to it. Go with that that one. So now we need a t-shirt design. So let's go back to the home page, click on t-shirt designs, and then what we can do is find one that we want to use. There are tons of templates here, and we can find a variety of illustrations, text, quotes, a combination of the two. You can already see there's some streetwear style shirts in here. We can also just hit the streetwear button here, the tab, the filter for streetwear, and you can see a ton of really beautiful styles, everything from just type to type in illustrations to kind of this brutalism, the repeated type of word designs. Hey, real quick, if you're getting value out of this video, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button and hit that red subscribe button. It means a ton and it'll only take a second. Then let me know down in the comments, what is the name of your streetwear brand? What is your logo name, your company name, whatever it is? I'm super interested to know, and let me know if you're going to use Kittl to make your streetwear designs, because I know they're going to help you sell more in way less time. So let me know, and let's get back to the tutorial. And we can scroll through these for a long time, but I like this one with the skull. I like how the type is on the left and right. It might be a little much for what we're about to do, but what we can do is click use this design and then start editing it to be how we want it. Now, all of these are different components. Of course, in the layers panel, you can see everything from the textures. You can change it to alpha masking, which will kind of clip that black away. You can also use other text effects and other texture effects and things like that. In the Y2K category, we have tons of elements here as well as other illustrations. You can also just type in something anime. You can change the color. All of this kind of stuff is ready for you to use in Kittl, so you can go play around with it for sure. We also have all of the Y2K elements I showed you earlier. And so what we're going to do with this design is make it our own. So I want to move and change the colors of the skull, but I'm going to keep it because I think that looks really cool, really grungy streetwear. What I'm going to go for is unfinished business. I'm going to add some shadow that's in that same purple, and then for unfinished, I'm going to make it more of a script style marker font, change it to that purple, and then what I'm going to do to fill some space is put this little splatter here and then put a cross in the skull eye. And then what I'm going to do is go over to this other tab, the other window, and copy, Command C, my Kittl logo, and then in the other window, I'll hit Command or Control V, and then boom, there's my logo that I can put here in the same window. So you can copy and paste between windows, by the way, if you didn't already know that. I'm going to make it that same kind of grayish white. And now this is a part of my shirt design. So now I have unfinished business, Kittl Berlin. This is my whole streetwear design. And then I can go over here and download it in a variety of ways. You're definitely going to want to check what your print provider, or if you're going to do screen transfers or heat transfers or something, make sure you find out the size that you need. You can remove the background in the pro and expert accounts. But another thing that you can do is actually go ahead and make some mockups in Kittl with our mockup illustrations. So if I go into the illustrations, you can kind of see them, but I'll just type in mockup, hit enter, and then you can see all of these different mock-up clothing pieces that you can change the color. So let's pick the front and the back of a t-shirt, because we know we're going to do a front and back of a t-shirt design for our streetwear brand. I'm going to do a hoodie as well as a beanie. So now we need to change the colors. I want them on black or a dark black, and then for the shadow, I'm just going to use a dark gray. And now what we can do is go over into our other window and just grab everything. So Command or Control C, bring it back, hit Command or Control V to paste, and then now what we can do is start formulating our mock-up. So you can see here, here's the back, that's the front of the shirt on the left, here's the back of the shirt here, and now what we can do is do some tweaking and sizing to get everything the way that we need it to be. And we are going to do something a little bit different on the front of the shirt. I think what I'm going to do is just use unfinished business. So you can hold Alt or Option key and drag, and then I'm going to turn this and put this kind of on the pocket size part of the shirt. So just on the upper left chest, not necessarily saying you have to have a pocket tee, but that's where it would go, sort of somewhere in that area of where the unfinished business, or you could do something else creative with it. It's totally up to you. Then what I'm going to do is make sure that the sizing looks right, and then I'm going to do the same exact thing for the bottom for the hoodie. So I'm going to grab both of these, hold the Alt or Option key and drag, and I can actually just drag all of them down. So once I have them all selected, boom, I can just drag them down, and then I can do some slight repositioning to make sure that it makes sense on the hoodie. because, you know, the hoodie's a little bit bigger. Of course, you're going to want to check with your print provider or the blanks that you're going to order. You need to make sure that you are sizing these out, do some testing on yourself. This is just for show. So here, on the beanie, I'm going to do unfinished business. I'm going to make it really big. Of course, again, you need to check with your provider to make sure you can do it this large, or if you're doing it yourself, just make sure you have the equipment to do so. But that's how easy it is to make some mock-ups really quickly in Kittl. And so here you can see the finished designs. I've mocked them up on an actual hoodie and on an actual beanie. So hopefully you understand just how easy it is for you to start your own streetwear brand using Kittl. Now, if you want to see other tutorials using Kittl, I have these videos here on my right that I know you're going to enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any upcoming videos and features and things like that. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.